Welcome to the latest Evershed Sutherland Legal Insights podcast.
Hello, I'm Matthew Allen, Global Head of Financial Services at Evershed Sutherland. Welcome to the latest in a series of podcasts which will explore the current and likely future direction of private equity and venture markets across Europe. We're thrilled to have been named Pan-European Legal Advisor of the Year at the 23rd Annual Real Deals Private Equity Awards. And against that backdrop, and over the next few weeks, I'm speaking to our private equity and venture partners in a number of jurisdictions across Europe to get a temperature check on current deal activity, industry trends, and market outlook. Today, we're going to be looking at the venture market in Switzerland. And to help us do this, I'm delighted to be joined by my Swiss colleague, Michael Mosimann. Michael, hi. Thanks very much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
Pleasure. Maybe you could just kick off by giving us a little bit of a thumbnail sketch of the current state of venture markets in Switzerland.
Sure, more than happy to do so. So we have seen, I would say, a medium activity in the venture market. Our deal numbers as well as deal volumes in terms of financing rounds are down 10% compared to the same period last year. So I would say we're pretty much there where we have been last year, but not extraordinarily. We still see that valuations are rather at the low end. We see that especially the later stage rounds have been missing, I would say, the bigger rounds, the one that drove in significant capital. And I think it's not because of a lack of investable capital available with the funds. They have capital available, but they are reluctant to place that money for the time being.
And within that, and I know it's obviously been a sticky period, and there's hope and expectation as we get deeper into the year and certainly into 2025 that some of that will unlock, and we'll come on to your thoughts on the next 12 months in a little while. But just here and now, are there, within all of that, are there any particular trends that you've identified? Are there particular types of sectors, industries that are still quite active within that venture and growth space?
Indeed. It seems that the ICT hype is a little bit over. We have seen significantly less transactions, not in terms of numbers of transactions, and also invested money in that sector. Probably the biggest winner of that has been the biotech sector, together with some medtech investments. And another sector that has remained rather strong is the energy and clean tech sector. So I would say those three have either remained stable or have even increased, whereas, as I said, the ICT sector has drastically decreased, and it seems that these kind of investments are not really at the forefront interest of the investors anymore.
And are you able to tell us about any deals you've been working on recently?
Yeah, we had a couple of ones. Interestingly, we have been able to advise one startup on acquisitions. It's not that very often that we see startups doing other acquisitions. That was a Zurich-based data analytics service provider acquiring a US-based startup. Not that high volume, but it was an exciting transaction on the transatlantic basis. We also had a venture debt funding of a Zurich-based startup in the healthcare sector that acquired funding of some 20 millions, and a couple other smaller transactions.
And looking ahead, Michael, what do you see for the next 12 months in terms of the market in Switzerland? Are we going to see this rebound, or what's going to happen?
My guess is yes, it will rebound. I would expect that we see some more investments coming in, because all the dry powder that is available with those investment funds, they are required to deploy that at some point in time. We still see that valuations continue to come down for startups as well as for exit transactions, and together with, depending on what is happening on the interest rate side, that might or might not help the entire ecosystem in terms of transactions. What we still see is some companies doing rather strategic acquisitions that could offer many more exit opportunities for startups, especially in the clean tech, renewable energy sector. Another possibility is add-ons in the sustainability areas in order to meet customer expectations, with that entire supply chain disclosure, sustainable supply chain aspects that could still offer some exciting opportunities ahead.
Michael, thanks very much indeed for joining us today and for these really helpful insights. And of course, thanks to you, the listeners, as always, for joining us. If you would like to know more about our European private equity team or trends and opportunities in private markets in Switzerland, coming period, please don't hesitate to contact Michael, myself, or your usual Evershed Sutherland contact. Please look out for the next podcast in this series, which will appear on all our usual social media channels in the very near future. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the Evershed Sutherland Legal Insights podcast.